And she's talking money, moms, and major league moves, where Governor Kelly stands on the issues impacting Kansans most. And this is where we begin tonight. Welcome and thanks for joining us this Sunday night for 27 News at 10. I'm David George. The challenges ahead for Kansas are beyond party lines. It's personal for people feeling the impact. Our Capitol Bureau Chief Rebecca Chung went one-on-one with Governor Laura Kelly in an exclusive interview to talk about what's next for the state, from tariffs and federal funding battles to stadium deals and next year's governor's race.
Kansas Governor Laura Kelly is hitting the road to hear about the top issues people are facing when it comes to the economy, what's fueling growth, and what's standing in the way.
They have a lot of the concerns about affordability right now, making sure that childcare is available, that housing is within their reach.
She's getting ready to set up her budget for next year's legislative session, but Republican lawmakers have plans to get started on their priorities before then, a special session on redistricting. Gender markers and property taxes also being floated as potential topics, but Republican leaders still need enough lawmakers to get on board.
With this special session coming up for redistricting, do you think there's room to address property tax relief? And what steps would you support to ease the property tax burden for homeowners?
Well, first of all, we'll see if that special session happens at all. I think the fact that they've not been able to get the signatures to get the special session for the redistricting purposes is significant. So I'm not sure we're going to have to be concerned with that. I would say if they do get the signatures for it, then they ought to limit what they address during that special session. Trying to rush through any kind of other proposal, there's not time during a special session to do justice.
National issues are also rippling through Kansas. Kelly says tariffs are already doing more damage for farmers than the government shutdown. But she's also facing another battle, a federal lawsuit over SNAP benefits. The state's refusing to hand over the personal information of people using SNAP, despite threats from the USDA to cut $10 million from the program every quarter.
Can the state handle a shortfall in income from the federal government when it comes to SNAP? And even now with the federal shutdown going on, how do we continue with some of those programs that benefit Kansans?
It is a problem. I've just been talking with other governors across the country on what they're going to do with the SNAP, and I think we're all in the same situation. The states don't have the money to backfill the federal government's responsibility to provide funding for food through the SNAP program, and I think we're going to get into the issue of the temporary assistance for needy families soon.
I also asked about the high-stakes stadium deal to lure the Chiefs or Royals across state lines. Kansas has offered to cover up to 70% of the cost of a new stadium through star bonds. But will it pay off in the end?
So you're comfortable with spending potentially hundreds of millions of dollars to get them across the state line?
I think if you look back on all of the economic development projects that we have closed, have we laid out a bunch of money? Yes, we absolutely have. But it's always been calculated on, here's what we will invest, here's what we expect to get back to make Kansas a better place to live. And so we're doing the same thing with this economic development project. It's no different than any other.
And with the 2026 governor's race on the horizon, Kelly is looking ahead to who could be the next person to take her seat. As the chair of the Democratic Governors Association, her endorsement could carry weight. And right now, she's keeping an open mind.
Yeah, I have never been one that it's got to be a Democrat, no matter what. I have always voted for the candidate, the person, not the party.
Is there any particular candidate that you're backing, and how do you foresee them maybe advancing the party's economic interests if they were to take that seat?
I'm not prepared to endorse any candidate right now. There's a lot of time ahead before something like that will happen.
The governor says the economy has been one of her top priorities, and she's hoping the next governor keeps Kansas on track and leads with the people's needs in mind. Reporting from the Kansas State Capitol, I'm Rebecca Chung.
It's called the People's Budget Tour. There are 7 more stops, which you can see on your screen. In fact, they're going to be in Hayes on October 29th, Kansas City on November 3rd, and then ending that tour in Wichita on November 12th. Now, for detours on the tour, you can just go to our website, which is ksnt.com.